Once again, it's good to be here. I'm a little bit out of practice, so bear with me. The sacred word today touches upon a human experience that is all too often present in all of our lives. There are moments when we must walk alone. We would rather not, but we'd rather find ourselves with companions. But oftentimes it seems that we're enveloped by a loneliness. In that opening lesson, Job, he's struggling with the turn of events in his life, and he's not in a good place. We psychotherapists would say he's immobilized, shut down, overwhelmed, depressed. Trying to get through a night of loneliness when sleep is elusive seems to say it all. We've been there. This opening lesson, it's pointing us toward that gospel. And this is a scene at the beginning of Jesus' ministry. Yet what stands out to me is the contrast between the loneliness Job is experiencing and the many individuals, the coming together, the movement of people into the lived experience of one another. The sick and possessed are so debilitated they cannot come to Jesus on their own. But others end up bringing Jesus to them or bringing them to Jesus. What is depicted here is the overwhelming suffering of our human lives and how we human people respond naturally. So once realized there was someone who can turn this suffering around, the people rush to the cure. It's not hard to understand that the disciples told Jesus immediately about Simon's fevered and bedridden mother-in-law. And again, it's no surprise that once the sun goes down and the Sabbath regulations are lifted, the people brought the whole city of the sick to the door. Curing the sick, driving out demons, restores individuals to better functioning and a quality of life. This also restores the person to family, community, to the circles of love that grieve at loss and rejoice at reunion. Yes, this is a picture of the human condition that we're all aware of in this devastating pandemic. There's an overwhelming separation and hopelessness that we want to desperately bridge. I'm encouraged. The sacred word today recognizes our moments of loneliness, and yet we're reminded that we're really not ever alone. There is a sense of community that has been there all along, and this is why the distancing from each other is so painful. And there's also a sense of community that is surfacing, and we're being creative as we try to reach out, love, support, and engage with one another. So here we are, This is the opening chapter of Mark's gospel. The demons, they seem to mock Jesus, indicating they know Jesus, and then Jesus abruptly shuts them down. Apparently, they know only half of the truth. And the people know only half of the truth. Jesus takes hold of the suffering of the people, and at the same time, he withdraws to be alone, to be with God in prayer. In communion with God, Jesus will be able to see his mission more clearly and also build the resolve to fulfill that mission. The excitement of the moment must give way to the deeper message. Jesus has come to reveal the truth. The spiritual revelation, so to speak, Jesus initiates here, declares God is loving, merciful, compassionate, forgiving. God is there for you and me. God is for this suffering humanity, and God will see us through the suffering. Again, we're only within the opening first chapter of Mark's account. As we move with Jesus through the towns and villages, the hope is that we will grow in appreciation for God's desire for the fullness of life for each human person. We're not alone. We do not need to endure loneliness. There is a steady presence within you and me. There's a steady presence in the community. We are a human family that can offer support, love, and mercy. So as we begin another new week, I would like to suggest that we might pay attention to that mother-in-law. Jesus' touch becomes a transfusion, his life flowing into her. The fever leaves, service begins. God's service to her in Jesus becomes her service for others. The cure provides a physical relief, and it's accompanied by a deeper and more profound healing. This connects us to the most genuine part of who we are all meant to be. We'll move into the Eucharist, and then we'll be out into this new week. May we be, my prayer for all of us, is that we might be a little bit more aware. We're not alone. We walk in the loving presence of God, and that presence compels us to reach out, take care of one another. And that wonderful opening hymn might accompany us into this new week. Christ in me, arise with your healing and loving presence.